Hi ninjas, and welcome to another visual guide of Sekiro. After you come back from gathering the ingredients and start your journey to the Divine Realm and battle through the invading Interior Ministry forces, you climb up to the top where you battle Kenjidarou. Once you touch the edge of the lookout, a cutscene will play that reveals a huge secret.
お主のことはよく覚えているぞ。死んだと聞いていたが、一体何を企んでいる？フクロウよ。
さあ、我と共に参りましょうぞ。このフクロウは巫女様の尊いその恩知をお守りしたいだけにございます。
お主も流因に見入られたか。話すことはない。去るがよい。
Once Owl has finished speaking, you can approach him and talk with him. As you go through the dialogue, Owl will command to forsake your master Kuro. You are given an option at this point, which will dictate on how the game progresses from here. And in this video, we go through on what happens if you break the Iron Code and stay loyal to Kuro instead of Owl. If you wish to see what happens in the other option, I have another video for that, which I will link here and in the description of this video.
せがれよ、なぜこの父の思いがわからぬのだ。忍びの掟を忘れたか。
掟は己で定める。そう決めました。
少しは成長しておるようだな。やろうか。狼よ。
This is a visual guide on how to defeat the great Shinobi Owl. After battling through a large variety of enemies of many different sizes and skills, it is time to meet the stronger version of you, since the title that Owl carries is very much given to him for a reason. You yourself have used a wide array of skills and tactics against many enemies, and now Owl uses those same tactics against you, as this fight has tons of really familiar moves, which he uses even better than you do, being your teacher and father after all. His basic attacks include the very standard sword combo that you yourself use, that starts with the basic diagonal downward slash, which is followed by an upwards diagonal slash. Oftentimes he concludes the combo with a heavy downwards diagonal slash, but sometimes he makes a quick spin and does 2 quick horizontal slashes. Deflect these to the best of your abilities, since his giant sword has a very long reach and trying to dodge it backwards risks a lot of being hit. He has 2 different continuation hits that Owl uses randomly, where after the first slash attack he can rotate the blade over his head back to his right side and do a horizontal slash. The second continuation attack is a wide horizontal slash that he slashes from his left to right, where usually after this attack he jumps backwards to take distance. He can do this slash also like the first one, where on its own he rotates the blade over his head to the left side and slashes there. Another one of his basic attacks is a dash attack, where he runs straight towards you, places his sword on his left side and does an upward swing that deals moderate damage. He always continues after this with a quick follow-up, so be ready to continue defending yourself with deflections. Another dash attack is one where Owl steps slightly to your right and then runs past you to your left, while dealing a heavy slash that deals moderate damage. You can either deflect this, but dashing through the attack is also a very valid option by using the iframes of the dash. After the slash, Owl uses one of his most used moves, the Kinyaku bomb, where he slowly drops a small smoke bomb in front of you that spreads for a small area. This does not deal damage, but applies a debuff on you, where for 1 minute you cannot use any recovery items. This disables the healing gourd, pellets, divine grass, and any status ailment recovery items and gourds. However, Rise is an exception, and you can use it even under the debuff. Owl can use this on its own when he is close to you or after the sideways dash attack. If you are under the Kinyaku debuff and the Owl does the sideways dash attack, he will always continue with the double slash attack instead of trying to use the Kinyaku bomb again until the debuff wears off, in which point he will begin using it again. And speaking of tools, just as you have the Shinobi prosthetic armed, pun not intended, with numerous Shinobi tools, Owl does not need a prosthetic to have almost the same ones as you do. Let's start with the Shurikens. Whenever Owl is next to you, he can do a very similar stomp on you that you have done to enemies in the past, where he basically uses you as a springboard to do a backflip, and if you don't deflect this, you stagger slightly but don't take damage on the stomp, but you are vulnerable to the follow-up attack. As Owl is in the air, he will throw 5 shurikens at you and a wide cone area that deal light damage if they hit you. Another shuriken move is where Owl stands still, he throws 2 shurikens at you, and then jumps towards you while charging up an attack with a somersault, and as he lands, he does a massive overhead strike that deals high damage if it hits you. Even though this attack looks like it has a massive range, it surprisingly doesn't, and it is also very easy to get behind him to deal the 3 direct hits. And finally, there's one familiar move, the chasing slice, where Owl throws a single shuriken at you and then charges next to you with a fast dash attack that deals massive damage if it hits you. Blocking it staggers you a lot, and deflecting it also pushes you back a lot, but lets you gain control soon enough. However, with the correct timing, you can dash through the chasing slice and get behind Owl to deal direct hits on him. Next on the list of familiar tools is the Shinobi Firecrackers that are a lot more dangerous than what you wield. He can use these in 2 different ways. One is where he jumps backwards while sprinkling the firecrackers in front of him, and the second is where he first tackles you with his shoulder, followed by a quick sword slash, after which he sprinkles the firecrackers, but this time he hits them with his sword as they explode. If this hits you, it will deal massive damage, and if you don't have full health, it will most likely kill you. Although Owl does not have any perilous attacks, he has a few execution maneuvers where if you are caught within them, they will deal massive damage, and surviving them requires you to have full health when causing these maneuvers. One of them is where you are staggered by having your posture bar max out, at which point Owl will attempt to step on you, and if you manage to do that, he'll pin you down and impale you with his sword. And the second one activates if you ever try to thrust Owl with your charge attack or with the loaded spear when he is not occupied in an animation. He will use upon you the move you have probably by now used on so many enemies multiple times. None other than the Mikiri Counter. This time, however, the Mikiri Counter does not deal posture damage like you do, but he instantly moves behind you and stabs you, that deals massive damage, so be wary when you use the thrust attack. After you deal the first death blow, Owl finally recognizes your skill as the better fighter, bows down and begs for mercy so intensely that if you stay close to him while he does this, you will be knocked off your feet. But as is to be expected, this is merely a ruse, and as you get closer, he throws a smoke bomb that obscures your vision and disables your lock-on until you can find him and lock on to him again. Now begins the second phase. In this phase, Owl switches to even dirtier play by upgrading some of his moves. Whenever Owl stomps on you and does a backflip, instead of throwing shurikens, he instead splashes towards you a cone of poison acid, and if you stay on this liquid, your poison meter will rise rapidly and you will be poisoned. And do note, if you receive the Kinyaku debuff, you cannot heal your poison status with antidote powder until the debuff has gone away. As for the smoke bomb he used earlier, he will also use it during the second phase. When he lifts up his left hand in the air, he'll cast about a second, during which he has hyper armor and cannot be interrupted. After the cast, he'll throw the smoke bomb right under his feet and jump straight backwards. If you are close to the smoke when it explodes, you won't gain damage but will be staggered for a second yourself, which also breaks your lock-on of Owl. When this happens, quickly press lock-on 2 times, one to direct the camera towards Owl and one to lock on again through the smoke. Also be warned that Owl uses every single tactic to play dirty against you, even gameplay mechanics, where if you deflect attacks from Owl within the smoke, the screen will flash brightly, so be mindful that if you have eyesight trouble or epileptic trouble. During the second phase, once Owl starts to have a lot of posture damage, he will use the same type of posture recovery moves that the Generals and Lone Shadows have used before. He only uses this move after the stomp and the poison spill combo, where after he lands and places his sword on his right side, casts for 2 seconds, and on the third he executes the maneuver. You can interrupt this cast with the loaded shuriken and then wait for Owl to come over to you, since the poison pool between you and Owl is a bit too risky to close up with the chasing slice. Now let's look at some tactics and tips. Owl is the most arrogant and shameless boss in the game, who revels in mocking you with the dirtiest fighting techniques ever. But then again, he is your foster father who taught all of this to you, so might as well learn from him. Even though he is big and strong, Owl is very nimble and fast as well. But despite his large frame, his defenses are not as strong, so you can exploit this with careful tactics and patience. Although he uses the Mikiri Counter on you whenever you try to thrust him, there are some moments when the thrust attacks are better than simply dashing next to him and proceeding to attack, mainly because some of his attacks are so strong and deflecting them pushes you back a lot, in which time Owl can regain his form and begin defending against your attacks. For example, during the sideways swipe attack and during the Firecracker, you can instead instantly narrow the gap between with thrust and deal a strong direct hit and proceed with your assault. In case of the fire attack combo, deflect first the shoulder attack, the sword swipe, and immediately after this start charging up R1 for your thrust attack to move past the firecrackers. However, be careful with the sideways dash attack, or you can use the double slash follow up instead of the Kinyaku bomb, in which point the thrust is not recommended. Watch carefully if he's about to make the spin immediately after the dash or throw the Kinyaku bomb, and thrust after either of the attacks is over. Any moment Owl is recovering from an animation, you can use the thrust on him. If he uses the double Shuriken and somersault combo, deflect the Shurikens and start walking diagonally past Owl. As he is in the air, get behind him for easy direct hits. And for the chasing slice, you can deflect the Shuriken and then attack normally, but yet again a more efficient way of avoiding this is to deflect the Shuriken and then dash through the sword from your right side, which lets you get behind Owl again for a free hit or two. When he comes close, uses the Kinyaku bomb, hit him once either normally or with the thrust attack, and let him come to you to let the cloud dissipate so you won't get caught. Should you need to heal, make sure for starters that you are not under the Kinyaku debuff, and do not panic sprint to try and get distance, for he will start sprinting behind you as well, and it will take time for you to turn and start to heal, which will give Owl an opportune chance to punish. Instead, walk backwards a bit and make sure that he is walking, and when you have distance, then heal. He will only then start running towards you, but by that moment when he gets close, you'll have healed and gotten ready again. The other option is to let him come close, bait him to attack, and then take distance carefully again. Keep pressuring him and do not let him have any breaks. Use the aforementioned tactics to get behind him for free hits, deflect his counterattack. Do not thrust him when he is prepared, but only when he is in an animation, and you're sure to give him the taste of his own medicine and put him and his devious plotting down for good. Congratulations on the victory. You are rewarded with the battle memory of the great Shinobi and the aromatic branch, which is the final ingredient required for the incense of the divine realm. And now I will show you an example run on how to defeat the great Shinobi Owl, along with possible mistakes and how to recover from them.
情けないことか。せがれよ。参る。逆たぶりよな。
And with that, we will wrap up with the video. You have now defeated your mentor and foiled his great ambitious plan, and also proven that you are the new great Shinobi. If you wish to see what happens if you choose differently on Owl's choice, and also an option how to proceed to a hidden area after this fight, I will link these videos in the description below. I hope this video was of help. Leave a like if it was, subscribe for more, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, stay vigilant, and I'll see you next time!
Fight, fight, fight if you wanna live long! Fight, fight,